for this project, we're going to use a Superfine or a fingering weight yarn, a size C or a 3mm crochet hook, a yarn needle, and a pair of scissors. And if you are new to this channel, hi, my name is Kath and I do crochet tutorials. You can follow me on Instagram as well as my Facebook page at What About Yarn. And if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe. Starting off with a slip knot. From here, we're going to work a foundation single crochet. Now, what that is, it's basically your foundation chain and a row of single crochet at the same time. So to do that, you're going to chain twice. And on the second chain from the hook, you're going to work a single crochet. So insert your hook in there, grab the yarn and pull up a loop. Grab the yarn and pull through the next loop. And grab the yarn and pull through the last two loops on your hook. So this is going to count as one single crochet. So when we turn this to the side, you can see here that we have this little inverted V. You can see that. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook into that V. Into that tiny inverted V. Like so. So I hope you got that. Now we're going to grab the yarn and pull up a loop. And grab the yarn and pull through the next loop on our hook. And grab the yarn and pull through the last two loops on our hook. So that is our second foundation single crochet stitch. Now you're going to repeat that, what you just did, until you have 80 of these stitches. Once you have 80 stitches, we're going to work a slip stitch into that very last stitch. So to work a slip stitch, you're going to insert your hook into that stitch, grab the yarn and pull through all of the loops on your hook. Like so. Now from here, we're going to chain 3. And that chain 3 is going to count as one stitch. Okay? So once you have the chain 3, we're going to work a double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So yarn over and insert your hook into the second stitch. Grab the yarn and pull up a loop. Grab the yarn and pull through 2 loops. And grab the yarn and pull through the last 2 loops on your hook. And that is our double crochet. Now you're going to work that same stitch in each of these stitches across until you get to the end of the row. When you get to the end of the row, you're going to chain 3. Turn your work. And chain 3 here counts as one double crochet. So we will begin our next stitch into the second stitch. And from here, we will work a front post double crochet. So we will not work the stitch into the stitch space. Instead, we will work the next stitch into the post itself or the stitch post. So front post double crochet. To do that, you're going to yarn over and insert your hook into the post of the next stitch and grab the yarn and pull up a loop. So grab the yarn and pull through the next 2 loops on your hook. And grab the yarn and pull through the last 2 loops on your hook. And that is our first front post double crochet stitch. Now on the next stitch or the third stitch, we're going to work a double crochet stitch. So that is here. And from here, you will just repeat the same pattern, front post double crochet, then double crochet into the next stitch. So the next stitch will be a front post double crochet, and the next stitch is a double crochet. So you're going to repeat that until you get to the end of the row. So here we have this turning chain 3 at the very end of the row. Now instead of working a front post double crochet in there, we're just going to work a double crochet into the third chain, or the top chain of this beginning chain 3. Like so. After that, we will chain 3 and turn our work. Now the idea here is to follow the stitch patterns from the previous row. So on the next stitch, it's a double crochet, so we will just work a double crochet into the next stitch. And the next stitch is a front post double crochet earlier, right? So instead of working a front post double crochet like this, we're going to work a back post double crochet. So it's basically the same stitch, but then we will work it like this. So we will work the post stitch from the back part. Yes, so to do that, you're going to yarn over and insert the hook into the stitch from the back. Grab the yarn and pull up a loop. Grab the yarn and pull through the next 2 loops on your hook. And grab the yarn and pull through the last 2 loops on your hook. So that is our back post double crochet. Okay? So just continue following that pattern, back post double crochet and double crochet until you get to the end of the row. Now onto my last stitch at the end of the row. Double crochet into the top chain of the turning chains. So this is how this side of the panel looks like. This is, by the way, the back part. And if you flip that over, you can see here that the front part already has the ribbing being formed. So from here, you will just keep on repeating row 3 and row 4. So row 3 is the row with a front post double crochet, and row 4 is the row with a back post double crochet. So you're going to keep on repeating that until you have a total of 38 rows. Here I have a total of 37 rows, 38 if you will include counting the foundation single crochet row in the beginning. So to continue, we're going to chain 3, turn your work, and for this row, we're going to be decreasing. So on the next 2 stitches, we're going to work a double crochet decrease or a double crochet 2 together. So to do that, you're going to yarn over and insert the hook into the next stitch. Grab the yarn and pull up a loop. Grab the yarn and pull through 2 loops, just like what you do with a normal double crochet, but this time we're going to leave this stitch as is. Now on the next stitch, we will work again the same stitch. So yarn over and insert the hook into the next stitch. Grab the yarn and pull up a loop. Grab the yarn and pull through 2 loops. And this time we will grab the yarn and pull through all of the loops on the hook. So that is our double crochet 2 together or double crochet decrease. Now after this, we will just repeat the stitch patterns from the previous row. So the next stitch is a double crochet. And the next stitch is a back post double crochet. And you're going to repeat this pattern until you get to the last 3 stitches. So 1, 2 and 3. So your last stitch will be here. Okay, so repeat the stitch pattern until you get to that stitch and meet me back later. I'm here on the last 3 stitches. Now we're going to work a double crochet decrease on the next 2 stitches. So double crochet decrease or double crochet 2 together into the next 2 stitches, and on the last stitch, which is a chain 3, we're going to work a double crochet. So we have a total of 78 stitches for this row. So what you're going to do now is you're going to keep on working this row, the decreasing row, until you have a total of 8 rows or 68 stitches in total. So repeat that, decreasing 1 stitch in both sides, and repeat that until you have 8 rows in total. Yes? So do that and meet me back later once you get there. Here I worked 8 rows of the decreasing row and I ended up with 64 stitches into the very last row. So we will just continue working the second part or the second decreasing row. Now from here we will chain 3, turn your work, and the next stitch is basically the same stitch, or we will just do the same procedure as the previous row. So on the next 2 stitches, we're going to work a double crochet decrease or a double crochet 2 together, and we're going to repeat this twice. So that is 1 double crochet decrease, and again we will repeat the same thing on the next 2 stitches. So double crochet decrease or double crochet 2 together into the next stitch. So we have a total of 2 double crochet decrease for this row. Okay, so from here you will just repeat the stitch pattern until you get to the last 5 stitches at the very end of the row. So do that and meet me back later when you get there. On to my last 5 stitches. We're going to work a double crochet decrease into the next 2 stitches. And again another double crochet decrease into the next 2 stitches. And finally on the very last stitch is a double crochet. So that is the pattern for our second decreasing row. Now from here, you will repeat this same procedure, decreasing 2 stitches twice on both sides until you have a total of 7 rows or 36 stitches on the very last row. So do that and meet me back later when you get there. So here I have about 36 stitches for the very last row. Now from here, we're not going to decrease anymore. So chain 3. And turn your work. Now we're going to work a double crochet into the next stitch. And double crochet into the next stitch. And after that, we will just follow the pattern stitch until we get to the end of the row. So here at the end of the row, I'll work my last double crochet into the top chain of the turning chain 3. And from here, you will just repeat this row without decreasing. So you will repeat this twice. So you have a total of 3 rows of non-decreasing. So do that and meet me back later when you get there. So here I finished my first panel. Now go ahead and repeat everything from the very beginning to make the second panel. So do that and meet me back later when you have your second panel. Once you have your second panel, you're not going to cut off the yarn because we're going to use this for the shoulder part later. So what you're going to do now is you're going to turn the second panel where the back part is facing up and the other panel, the front part is facing up so that both the insides will be facing each other. Now from here, we will continue working with our shoulder part. Now the idea here is to make a chain that is long enough to go above the shoulders and towards the back part so that we can connect it to the second panel. Just bear in mind that you need to make a chain in multiples of 2 for this pattern to work. Now in my case, I did a total of 36 chains. And once you have your chain, we're going to slip stitch into the back part of the second panel. And you're going to fasten off and cut the yarn. And work the same amount of chains as the other strip. Now do the same thing for the other strap as well, chaining the same number of chains as the other strap. Slip stitch into the back panel, chain 3, so that we can start the first row of the ribbing for the shoulder part. Now from here, you're going to turn your work. And we're going to work a double crochet into the chains. And after that, we will follow the stitch patterns into the first panel, like so. And again, double crochet into the chains. Follow the stitch pattern until we end up again into the beginning chain 3. So double crochet into the first chain. And when you get to the panel, you're just going to follow the stitch pattern. In this case, this is a front post double crochet on the next stitch, a double crochet on the next stitch, front post double crochet on the next stitch, and you're going to repeat this until you get to the end of the row. When you get to the end of the row or the round, we're going to slip stitch into the top chain of the turning or beginning chain 3. After this, we will chain 3 and turn your work. Now for this row, the idea here is to alternate the stitches. So if you look at this from the other side, you will see that the last stitch pattern is a front post double crochet. So that means that the next stitch is a double crochet, and then the next stitch is a front post double crochet, and then double crochet. So that means that I will be working a double crochet for the next stitch. So double crochet into the next stitch. And since we are working in the inner part or the back part, so instead of working a front post, we will work a back post. And then double crochet. And back post double crochet. So as I said earlier, we're just going to follow the stitch pattern for this row. And you're going to keep on repeating the stitch pattern all the way around until you get to the very end. So do that and meet me back later when you get there. At the end of this row, we're going to slip stitch into the top chain of the beginning chains. And we're going to repeat this stitch pattern one more time. So chain 3, turn your work, and then you're going to work around this shoulder part one last time. After that, we're going to cut the yarn and fasten off, and we will be working on the seams of the side part. For the sides, we're going to connect both panels with a single crochet, or if you prefer other technique, you can do so as well. And don't forget that your panels needs to be inside out. Now all that's left to do now is to weave in your ends, and that marks the last part of this tutorial. Friends, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you will make this top, please don't forget to tag me on social media at whataboutYarn, and if you have any comments and suggestions, just write them down below in the comment box and I will do my best to answer them. Thank you so much guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next video.